That Miserloo knockoff can only mean it's time to play some Jet Moto. Good stuff. Made by the creators of Twisted Metal. Single track. Many of the same development team, specifically. If I were to go through the credits, I would recognize some of the names. So here are some of our options. We can choose who's going to provide medals upon victory. The presenter can be male, or female, or rider's choice. The 3 genders. I am going to pick male. I'm going to play as a female character, but we had enough lesbian representation last week with Grudge Warriors. So we'll try and get some gay representation in this playthrough by losing repeatedly, and therefore allowing male drivers to win the match and be presented by a male trophy presenter. Because if you choose rider's choice, the driver always chooses a gender different from their own as the person to provide them with their trophy. So we can choose our difficulty. Amateur is the lowest choice, so it's what I'll be sticking with, and I'll still be losing. We can, at the very least, mercifully adjust the number of laps. All the way up to 6. 3 is the default, so you can bump it down to 2, which is pretty cool in my book. 2 seems to be the perfect amount to show off the levels. I have no idea what a stunt race is, so I probably should not activate it. And from that menu that we just saw, you can actually input cheats to unlock the content in this game. Illegitimately. I've done exactly that, because I'm not good at this game. This is a difficult game. Very, very technical, and we'll get into the specifics of why. But the most important thing is the advertisement present in this game. There are 20 characters, each coming from 4 separate teams. Those teams are represented by real-world brand products. Like delicious Mountain Dew. Miko drinks it. And she is, I don't know what number she is. I thought she was number 69. Looks like Irons might be 69. She's got a 9 on there. There's 48. One of these bikes is number 69, and it is in the Mountain Dew team. You'd think it would be Wild Ride. But anyway. I don't know what the hell K2 is. Might not even be a brand. Not familiar with Axiom. But the driver I want to show off is in Team Butterfinger. Nobody better lay a finger on this team. Team Butterfinger is mostly dudes, except for Bomber. Bomber is precisely who I want to play as. Maxed out mass. This is going to allow us to play this as sort of a car combat game. Obviously not really. This is a racing game, through and through. But you're permitted to do small acts of violence. So I'm going to focus on those and maximize them by playing as Bomber. Dana Hogan. Dr. Frankenstein of the motorsports world. Oh, also the Mountain Dew team is all women. Weirdly enough. But yeah, Butterfinger. Team Simpsons. Using cheats, I have unlocked every single course. Normally, when you begin the game, only the green dot courses have been unlocked. You complete a full circuit if you come in first place in a full circuit with all 3 green dot levels. Then you unlock the blue square levels. Do the same thing, come in first place throughout a full circuit of all 6 levels. You will unlock the black diamond levels, including the double black diamond level. And at that point, a full season sends you through every single level in the game. Using cheats, I will now send us through every single level in the game. Starting with JOYRIDE, a wide open run. If you get turned around, keep the red buoys on your right. The secret to winning is not necessarily the shortest path, the rhythm of the waves. How romantic. Also buy some Crunch Bars, and Nestle, and Fruitaburst? Is Fruitaburst a style of candy that has been discontinued since 1995? I have no idea what that is. I do know that our beast of a vehicle dismounts every driver that it comes in contact with, which I find super fun and satisfying. And then when the driver respawns, I immediately clothesline him off again. Screw you, this is a car combat game, whether you like it or not. We can do backflips here. Our vehicle's mass is too great, so if we try to do backflips, we'll just die. Our vehicle will just end up bailing. It's gonna be hard enough to get any sort of decent score here. As noted, this game is very difficult. I believe it is the second Jet Moto that unintentionally has nearly impossible AI, caused by it all being recorded by the developers. So the developers basically made, instead of AI, ghosts of their own best times in the game, and that's the only thing you can drive against, meaning success in Jet Moto 2 specifically is virtually impossible. In this game, it's just really hard. But the game is also very, very, very technical. We're seeing the tether, as I call it. The game calls it the grapple. But as you're going around the red bars, you hit the circle button, you reach out to it, and that allows you to just stay that specific distance from that red bar. And in that way, you can better control your momentum. Sometimes it destroys your momentum. The physics engine in this game is fantastic. I should note, I already noticed, by checking Wikipedia, that this game, supposedly, history records this game as having been released October 31st, 1996. That is the exact same day that Twisted Metal 2 is recorded by history as coming out. By the same developers as Twisted Metal 2. Most of the same creative team, in fact. Look at our hunk of a trophy presenter. Good stuff. That's a true reward for number 96, Bomber. We couldn't be 69, so I'll take 96. I mean, we could have been 69. I just don't like the stats on vehicle number 69. So that might be the first and only, well, it's obviously the first, but probably the only time I'm going to get first place in one of these runs. I'm bad at this game. It is quite difficult. Pay attention to where the grapple points are, because the in-game map, I don't think, has any indication of where the grapple points are. And it's super important and kind of difficult to tell. So, Cliff Diver. This is a winding, treacherous course, arguably one of the toughest on the circuit. Use the grapple posts provided to take on the nasty switchbacks and passing areas. Passing as in passing away, I guess. Because this level will kill ya. Fortunately, we get to start by killing everyone else, which is my favorite part of every single level. Now, when you turn in this game, you do it with a D-pad, and you turn very, very slightly. This is where the grapple points are. Your D-pad turning is very, very shallow. You can only shift your angle a few degrees at a time, which is kind of rough. You need to do more than that. So, the right and left bumpers will do sharp turns, increasing your angle significantly more. But that's still not very sharp. Not sharp enough, I would say. Hitting a wall hard enough will dismount you. And the ease with which your vehicle dismounts is based on the vehicle's mass. Having a higher mass actually makes it more likely that you'll fall off your bike when you hit a wall, but less likely that you'll fall off when you hit an opponent. So it's a trade-off. So yeah, you gotta know when to sharp turn, and when to, like, supplement your regular turn with a sharp turn. But sometimes using both together is not enough. So you can also control your pitch with the left and right triggers, giving you even greater controls and sharper turns. However, when you are manipulating your pitch, you are likely to roll your bike, and that will dismount you instantly. So, as noted, the controls are super, super technical. There's a lot of mastery that goes into playing Jet Moto. 10th place. We still get a lot of points, and we started out in a pretty solid lead, so we're still number 1 in the standings. This will not last. Another lady won, though. Good for her. Maybe we're never going to turn this game gay, despite my best efforts. Fruitaburst was a type of gum. Thank you very much, Wrench. I was curious myself. So, Hammerhead. This is one of my favorite courses in the game. This suicide course can be confusing due to the multiple routes across the bridge and water. Just be careful at the turns. That's where Jet Moto racers are likely to collide. Sounds like an offensive, needlessly provocative term they use there. Suicide courses are specific types of courses where you do a U-turn at the end and then go face-to-face with all the other vehicles. So it's an appropriate name. The level Suicide Swamp appeared in Twisted Metal 2 as a secret bonus level, unlockable via code. And yeah, I noted when I played that level, a little unnecessary to call it that. But if you look at the shape of the level, it makes a little more sense. Faster vehicles can stay on top of the bridge all the way through. But this is where our bruiser of a vehicle really shines. Because This level is designed to send you face to face with all the opponents, thereby making a lot of collisions. We win in a collision. Okay, I hit the checkpoint. The angle I had there was really bad. I didn't think I was actually going to hit the checkpoint. Glad I did. Is this the finish? Yes. Honestly, I normally win that race. Typically, I come in first place there, because Bomber is very, very well suited to winning that particular race. Not this time, unfortunately, and I'm already out of the first place standing overall. Probably never to return, if I had to guess. Oh, that one was, a lady presented the trophy to the lady. Not sure how she overwrote my command. Good for her, though. Congrats. Cypress Run, a congested nightmare, is full of innumerable obstacles within backwater swamps. I'm sure there is a number, but regardless. If the thick reeds in the serpentine cut can't slow you down, the trees and stumps will. So, as though the controls in this game weren't difficult enough to master, the level design is also very, very, very difficult to master. The levels are designed to be, as the preview said, serpentine. Swerve you all over the place. A lot of memorization is required for mastery of these levels. And even when you get the layout properly handled, there's debris all over the courses, which will dismount you if you hit it hard enough. I honestly dislike the layout of these swamp courses. I find them very, very hard to navigate, and they're supposed to be hard to navigate. Here's where the tethers are, or grapple points, or whatever the game calls them. At least I got to kill someone. That's all I ask. Kill the other racers. I want this to be a car combat game, as little as single track wants it to be. Lap 2. I'm kind of glad they require 2 laps. I probably would have set it to 2 laps even if they allowed single laps. Because that is the perfect amount to show off the entire course adequately. Once you miss too many details, I think. It's very fast-paced. It also visually looks very samey. Soundtrack's fantastic. Same composers as Twisted Metal, which makes a lot of sense. And we haven't heard any yet, but there's also a lot of overlap between this game's soundtrack and that of Twisted Metal 2 specifically. So we have a limited amount of grapple. That's the bar below our speedometer. There's a red bar there. If the bar is empty, we are not allowed to grapple, even if we are within range of a grapple point. Here's a song I don't need to hear more of. Glad to be getting out of this level right now. We will hear much more of that song. Oh, the Mountain Dew team has a secret character. I legitimately did not know that. Don't worry, we'll hear so much honky tonk. That is the song that gets reused the most in this game, I think. This game loves the honky tonk. I'm still in the top 5. I thought I would be performing much worse. We are still not at the absolutely brutal levels. In fact, I might win this race because it's Blackwater Falls. Most of this winding track is inside a quick moving river. A quick moving river. That makes more sense. Should be hyphenated. Don't get too comfortable though. It's not called Blackwater Falls for nothing. It's got a big fall in it. This is... there's that song. This is a green dot level, and I do consider it to be significantly easier than most of the other levels in this game. That said, I could not legitimately first place the 3 green dot levels back to back. I had to use cheats even to unlock just the blue square levels. Pathetic to admit, but a true fact. Shortcut. Shortcut basically guarantees you end up in first place. For a while. Our vehicle is so slow that the other racers do catch up pretty quickly. But it's fine. We're still in a pretty sick lead. Well, not a lead, but we're still in the pack towards the front. And, whoa, we will get to use the shortcut again. So even if I fall all the way to 20th, the shortcut can still boost me back up to first, the way it did the first time I used it. It cuts quite the corner. And when I did not know about this shortcut, I always came in 20th place in this race. Now, as noted, I frequently come in first. Looks like I won't do that this time, though. Not that it matters. Whoa. Murdered that guy. Grappled myself right into him at a ridiculous speed. Here, we get to hear... Oh. I intentionally laid off the gas to not get clotheslined by the checkpoint. And then I did anyway. But I'm in first place, and there's the finish. First place. Beautiful. Gotta love Bomber. I don't think it's enough to bring us back to first place in the standings. Not quite. Second, though. This is probably the last time I end in any sort of decent standings. Because we're on to Suicide Swamp. I've never done well in this level. This is the level that appears in Twisted Metal 2, though, so pay attention if you want to see it played properly, not as a car combat game that is broken, because the AI can't handle it properly. A Jet Moto Suicide Course. This track seems fairly easy. Then you reach the end of the course, where the U-turns send you racing head-on into the pack. So this is where they define what a suicide course is. And they play this song again. As noted, they're going to play it a lot. And when you play this level in Twisted Metal 2, they also play this song. Fittingly. So, my torment never ends. It's fine, though. I'm very bad at this level, and I'm not specifically sure why. Especially because all the other suicide courses, there's 2 other ones. I tend to perform very well on them. As noted, I tend to win Hammerhead. And there's one more Black Diamond suicide course way later on. And I have often won that one as well, despite only playing it a few times. I'm down. This level, the tree trunks and stuff in the way, they murder me. So I'm not doing so hot. Maybe I should find and take out the driver Chen, so that he at least comes lower than me, and that will still boost my rating. Oh. I actually took that turn pretty well, but way too hard. I needed to get a more even angle towards the exit. So, 11th place, and Chen beat me by a wide margin. So, he's strengthened his lead. While I plummet. Yep, there's Miko. With the 69 emblazoned on her uniform. Very classy. On to willpower. Although this is a race, speed is not necessarily your friend. Leading the pack has sent many racers flying into a wall or off a cliff. Fun. So on to snow levels. This is one of those Mario Kart style games where you get a boost off the starting line if you hit the accelerator right as go appears. I'm not even sure if I've ever gotten that boost. I think it's a very subtle boost, even when you do get it. Well, I'm still in first. Not anymore. But clearly I'm not performing very well. And I'm still in first. They warn you not to go too fast here, and the AI doesn't. As a result, if you just hold the accelerator, you do kind of boost ahead, and then bail constantly. And it sort of evens out. Sometimes I still come in first in this race. There's a definite strategy to memorization and hitting the brakes so you don't catch as much air. You build acceleration better when you are not dead. So now I'm last place. But we did get to hear the Twisted Metal 2 scream. You build acceleration better when you are close to the ground. Even though we're on hover bikes that don't actually touch the ground, they still require contact with the ground in order to build friction and therefore momentum. I don't know the physics on it. I'm not Bomber myself. I just play her on TV. This is also a game where braking frequently and strategically is a major, major part of winning the races. I hate racing games where that is true. So this is, even if I liked racing games, not a racing game for me. But I like the vibe of it. It does have a very Twisted Metal vibe to it because it's made by the Twisted Metal devs. So it has their sensibilities, and I like that about it. But I could like the game more if it were designed in a way that I liked. More violence, less strategy. The reason I went from first to last when I flew off the cliff is that if you void out and need to get rescued by Lakitu, that doesn't respawn you on the spot the way it does when you fall off your bike. that sends you all the way back to the last checkpoint. No matter the distance, sometimes that is a huge, huge setback. This time it wasn't, even though it did send me all the way back to last place. Sometimes it makes it so that you never see another racer again. Just a single fall. Oh, that was a void out. So I did lose many, many places there. But yeah, in addition to the very technical pitch control and sharp turns, regular turns that you need to balance out at all times, you also need to master how to brake and when to brake as an additional very important mechanic. Congrats to the Max. 1X, unfortunately. He's not a gigantic purple dream monster. Ice Crusher is carved out of a fragmented glacier. It's a test of guts. How fast will you go? How close to the edge will you run? Make sure to keep your nose up. I consider this to be one of the hardest courses. I think this is much, much harder than most of the Black Diamond courses, but it is not a Black Diamond course. And I talked over it there, but we got to hear one of the men fall off the cliff, scream, as he died. He's not coming back. We are probably going to be in 19th place for the entire rest of this run. Because he should lose this race by a mile. That happens every time I play this level. It starts off with a guy screaming, and he just never comes back. I don't know who it is. There we go. Good, clean dude scream, which is unique to this game. It is indeed very strange that they decided to recycle the female scream, but made a unique male scream. And this has been way more death of the AI than I typically experience when I run through this level. In fact, I'm doing much, much better than I've ever done at this level. And I'm in 14th place. Which goes to show how hard of a time I tend to have in this level. Maybe I cracked this level. Spoke too soon. Ugh. Respawned on the seam between glaciers and instantly fell straight down. Having a very low top speed, which Bomber has a very low top speed, is the worst possible thing to have in this level. So, our chickens are coming home to roost. This is where level mastery and memorization is everything. And I just don't have it. I did not choose to memorize every level in this game just so that I could show them off. I still wanted to show them off. I do not care about being good at this game or this series, even though I do intend to show off further Jet Moto entries. Hey, that was pretty neat. Nice work, Bomber. Now it's... okay, I expected it to respawn me on a seam and instant kill me again. Thankfully, it did not do so. There's one checkpoint that spawns you facing the edge of a cliff, so that if you just hit the accelerator, you fall off of the platform you're on and knock the bike out from underneath you and bail instantly. So you need to stay not moving at the checkpoint, reposition your angle, and then start moving, or you can never actually make progress. And we're now in LA, if the soundtrack is to be believed. Very, very, very weird that they chose this for the snow level. And then associated it with Los Angeles in Twisted Metal. Keep getting dethroned on these very small gaps. Tragic. There is tire squealing elsewhere in the song. I'm fairly certain. I think we're gonna get a better chance to listen to the song. We'll find out. Because we're staying in the snow levels. They ain't going anywhere. As we enter Snowblind. Although this course has the characteristic suicide U-turns at each end, the major danger here is the course itself. So even though the whole suicide course thing is supposed to kill you by crashing you into the other vehicles, more often than not, the danger is crashing into the walls and stuff, and the debris that is everywhere. So yeah, this time we start with the LA music. Keep an ear out for whether or not they included engine noises, or tire noises specifically. Because this game does not feature tires. If there are tire peel-outs, they screwed up. And I'm back in first place. This is the Black Diamond suicide course. I think it might be the easiest of the suicide courses. Even considering that Hammerhead is pretty easy. It's a bit odd, the way they decided to balance these. The suicide courses are in descending order of difficulty. Yeah, there was the tire squeal. Clearly this song was made for Twisted Metal first. Even though these two games came out on the exact same day, Twisted Metal 2 was the priority. As well it should be. This game is not legendary. People certainly appreciate it. And it's definitely a good game. It's not a genre that I care about. But if you like racing games, this is a mechanically interesting one. It's fairly unique. It's extremely, technical. But not realistic. So it's not like a Trackmania. It's its own unique, weird thing. Different, and cool, and interesting in its own way. If that's the thing you need in your life. Come get it. That sucks. I got suicided. I'll be fine. Might still win. It does not matter what place I come in the overall standings. Frankly, none of this matters. I don't care about winning. The game doesn't care if I win. Uh-oh. Flipped onto the platform, thankfully. But yeah, the developers of Single Track were actually military contractors who made military-grade flight simulators. And then decided to start making video games. So, their games tended to be extremely technical like that. Weirdly enough, Twisted Metal is the game they actually just sort of crapped out. And it's their sloppiest and least realistic game. And also their claim to fame. Rightfully so, it's still my favorite thing to come out of Single Track. Beautiful. Like I said, easiest suicide course in the game. Ranked the hardest. Super weird. Maybe it's just that Bomber is abnormally good at that one. Because Bomber is a super strange vehicle to choose to play as. I am happy to have made that choice, though. Nightmare is the final course in the entire game. Note the locations of the grapple points. They are not at sharp turns. That is important. They're in, like, cross sections of the course. Very curious. So, some people dream about flying, others about falling. Jet Moto racers do both. Let's fly and fall. Or fall with style. This course is quite difficult. This is the double black diamond. Last one in the game for good reason. Basically, any mistake I make is going to hurl me all the way off the course and send me back to the checkpoint, resulting in significant time loss. And I think I'm in last place. Yeah, last place by a mile. So, this is probably the most technical course in the whole game. A game of primarily technical courses. You might have spotted the grapple point, though. It was above us, not to the side. We are meant to grapple ourselves upwards, like so. That way we can maintain our height as we go over long gaps. Uh-oh. Well, that was weird. Not a ton I could have done to save it at that point. Yes, respawned on the course. Lucky me. I should probably take this a little slower, since I'm going to come in 20th place anyway. Is this the only time I've come in 20th place, though? I think I actually, like, scored admirably in all the previous courses. Admirably being, like, 11th place or something. 14th, maybe. Which ain't exactly all that good, but it's much worse. Yeah, rail grind. That should be worth more points. Maybe it is. In the stunt course, which I don't know what that is. But I noted that you could do, like, backflips and stuff. That is a thing they encourage you to do, I guess. In probably the stunt races. Yes, it's destroyed Rainbow Road. Post-apocalypse Rainbow Road. I tried to make this game gay, so this is how severely I failed. Even Rainbow Road has no rainbows. Yes, I'm gonna land on the course. Saving me a checkpoint. And sending me back to checkpoint anyway. So, I compared this game to Twisted Metal for many obvious reasons. Twisted Metal is a franchise that Singletrack lost control of. Their contract with Sony expired under bad terms. They weren't allowed to make Twisted Metal anymore, so 989 made Twisted Metal instead. Jet Moto was popular enough to get the exact same treatment. Sony took it away from them and made 989 make Jet Moto games. Okay. Goodbye, cruel world. Jet Moto 3 and a canceled 4th game were made by 989 Studios. So, exactly the same fate as Twisted Metal, hilariously enough. And even more hilariously, Single Track reacted in exactly the same way. They made their own rip-off Jet Moto franchise called Streak Hoverboard Racing or something? Dead last place by 40 seconds. Abysmal performance by me, but it's a very hard level. But yeah, Streak Hoverboard Racing, we'll call it, is this sort of game, but it's not called Jet Moto, and you stand on a hoverboard instead. Awesome trophy presenter. The trophy is a giant block of ice, presented by an alien. Perfect. Sincerely, I don't know what the plot of this game is. Every single course, though, has both a male and a female trophy presenter. So I would have liked to have shown off every single trophy presenter, but it's impossible to do in a single playthrough. But good attention to detail with all this comic book art. There's more where that came from, actually. What we can do: turn off turbo and grapple. You know, I don't know what turbo is, now that I think about it. Huh. There's no, like, turbo button. How does one activate turbo? Weird. But what you can do, after you turn those off, this is a cheat code, actually. I'm holding L2 right now, selecting credits. Instead of playing the credits, it plays every ending in the game back to back. Now, the endings are just the character select image. This is Bomber. Bomber happens to be the first one on the list. So, despite how badly I failed, I came in 7th place overall. If I had come in 1st place, this is what I would have seen. Congratulations, Jet Moto champion. And yeah, it's anticlimactic that it's an image that you can see on the character select screen. But they are still cool images done by the same artist who did all the endings in Twisted Metal 2. So they're worth looking at. Getting an eyeful. Another thing that is suspiciously similar to Twisted Metal. In a good way. So I will be coming back to play Jet Moto 2. Possibly 3. And the prototype for 4 has also leaked. So maybe morbid curiosity will compel me into that game as well. But they're very difficult games and I'm especially bad at them. So I appreciate showing off the levels. I don't care about winning or doing well or any of that. I'm not competitive. I simply don't care. But I do like these games well enough. I think they're pretty cool. And they are Twisted Metal adjacent, coming from the same developers. If we were to look at the actual credits, we would see Mike Giam co-created this game with Kellen Hatch. Both of them are Twisted Metal creators, or Twisted Metal developers. Mike Giam is the co-creator of Twisted Metal itself, alongside David Jaffe. And a great deal of the Twisted Metal staff will appear in the credits here. Good for them. I was encouraged to check this game out by a viewer, and rightfully so. This game is well worth checking out. I've done so, And I, as promised, will be back to do Jet Moto 2 eventually. Thanks for joining me for this quick exploration of Jet Moto 1.